there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is Henry Flury from the Butcher Babies, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing all of you guys and gals awesome interviews. And today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Henry Flury. He's the guitarist of the Butcher Babies. Butcher Babies have three.
Oh, thanks, man.
Butcher Babies have 3 new singles out now: Bottom of a Bottle, Sleeping with the Enemy, and the newest single, Yorktown. Also, Butcher Babies celebrated 10 years as a band by creating and releasing their own signature wine called Butcher Burgundy. Butcher Babies' forthcoming EP is set to release mid-21, possibly, hopefully, but we're going to talk to Henry about all this stuff. So, man, how you been doing so far?
Doing good, man. We just got back from Arizona. We're down there doing some stuff. We have a live stream coming out here pretty soon. And, we're getting prepared to do something. And, man, it's just been really good.
How excited are you guys to hopefully get back out on the road, since some states are opening up slowly, which I hope they're not going to kick themselves in the ass by doing this. But how stoked are you guys so far?
It's really hard to tell. We're just kind of playing it by ear. We've got some things lined up. Coming up, we've got some festivals towards the end of this year, but everybody's just kind of waiting to see how this all pans out, and we have our fingers crossed, and we're kind of ready for anything. And I mean, that's kind of where we're at. It's like you can't really plan for much, but we're ready. We're ready to start playing shows again. So it's been a while.
It has been, and it doesn't seem real. And all these states are saying, hey, we're going to open back up and no social distancing, some of them that I've seen. And I'm just saying, look, just because there's a vaccination out, it doesn't mean that it's gone. Slowly, baby steps.
Right. It doesn't mean it's gone. I think a lot of what people don't understand about, shows, in order for a show to operate, in order for things to happen, it has to be packed full of people. Mm-hmm. You can't do it otherwise. I mean, a lot of these places are like, we'll operate at like 30% capacity. Well, that's the last thing you hope for is an empty room. Mm-hmm. you need to have these full rooms. Tours are expensive. Tours are expensive for bands, and they're expensive for the venues. And in order for them to pay for all that stuff, people got to be in there buying tickets, buying merch, buying, drinks and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's really got to open up for everything to work. And I know everybody's just kind of hoping that, this stuff will just, I kind of see the states opening up before anything else, but we'll see.
Did you find yourself doing anything differently other than music, such as like collecting or catching up on anything that you were lacking on, possibly?
Well, it's funny. We actually, Heidi and I've been in LA I was in LA for 23 years. And during that time, about midsummer, we started to see that LA was becoming the impossible money pit. And so we basically just up and moved. We moved to Vegas, and that was the best thing we could have done mentally and financially, was just get out of Los Angeles. And so we moved to Vegas, got our dog and got out of there. And we never looked back, and we couldn't be happier. And so now I would say the one thing that's changed a lot, well, not so much hobbies, because we focus primarily on music, is basically, we have so many more friends, and we really value, our community and the people we know out here in Vegas. And that has been a big plus. So we haven't been able to tour. We haven't been able to go do things as a band. We're kind of split up. We're all over the country. So we've kind of had to operate remotely with musically, but there's this collection of musicians out here in Vegas, and they're real tight. It's a real tight-knit community, and man, that's been such a huge plus for us that something we haven't had in LA for a long, long time. When you're in LA, we were either on tour or we were home just kind of cooped up watching TV, and people in LA don't get out much. So it's been a big change for us. It's a really positive move.
Yorktown is the third single release off this upcoming EP. Were you guys a little nervous at all releasing these singles since bands can't tour right now? I mean, obviously you want to get something out there relevant to let everybody know, hey, we're still here. But were you a little nervous at all?
At first we were, at first when this whole thing went down, because we were headed out on tour. We had a tour plan with Hell Yeah, and we had the whole year planned out. We were going to Europe, and we were doing all this stuff, and then we were like, now what? We have music, we have stuff ready to go, we have this whole plan, and then that just kind of all fell apart. And it's like, okay, well, what do you do? Because you release music and you can't tour on it, so what's the plan? And then after a while, we would realize that it's like, people want music. It's not like people stop listening to music, and people are at home and they need some sort of. They need to like latch onto something. So we thought, you know what? Let's take these songs and kind of release them one by one and see how people, because they're very different. It's very different than our old stuff. And if you're familiar with our old stuff, it's way, we took a different route with this. So we were like, let's see how people respond to this stuff and see if they like it. And luckily, everybody loved it, and they immediately gravitated towards the songs, and we're like, now we're giving people something to kind of chew on in the meantime. Before so when tour actually happens, people go to shows and they'll know these songs, and we'll be super excited to play them. So it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. Now, the first time I saw the Butcher Babies was on the Danzig 25th anniversary tour, and I was like, I can't wait to see you guys live. And when you guys came out, y'all knocked it out of the ballpark. And I'm not saying that just because Henry's on here, folks, because let me tell you, this band has been through shit. They have been knocked down and then kept getting right back up because they're female fronted. And I hate that they got done this way. But let me tell you, Carla and Heidi can hold their own with any metal band out there. I'm sorry if you like that. That's fine. If you don't, then there's the door. That's just the honest truth. And when you see these gals sing, it's like, God, that's awesome. They fit this band perfectly. That's just hands down.
You really nailed it there. And it's true too. In the beginning, it was there was backlash, but it was almost fuel. It was fuel for the show. And we knew, in the beginning of this band, we knew that if we come out swinging, that it's going to really throw people, because if you never heard of the band or you never saw the band, you'd look at us and you'd be like, okay, what is this crap? And then you see us and you see them on stage, and it throws everybody. And the best compliment we ever got, and we got it all the time, just our favorite compliment was, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And we're like, thank you.
Yeah.
That it's just like, that's not what I thought I was going to see. And that's awesome. That is such an awesome compliment, because that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to literally shock the shit out of people. And going out with Danzig and stuff like that tour was, that was a particularly tough tour in that, the fans that were going to see, mainly at that show were like Misfit fans, and they want to hear Misfits and nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, it was, they were not expecting, they came to see Glenn, and that was pretty much it, but we won them over. And that was kind of our thing, was like, let's win the crowd over no matter who we're playing with. Just win them over. And so it was really, really fun. And it's gotten a lot easier because female fronted bands have become way, way more prevalent now, and it's way more accepted. And there's a lot of badass bands out there. So
yes,
it has become easier. Of course, we haven't toured in a while, so we haven't seen what the landscape looks like recently, but over the years, it's gotten increasingly better.
And I like that Heidi and Carla did their own thing with this band. Not knocking you guys or anything that's also in it, but I'm just saying they did their own thing because they did their nod to Wendy O. Williams on what they did coming out like that. And I thought that's cool because everything that you guys do, and you guys, everybody out there listening, you can go research the Butcher Babies. I'm not lying. This is all God's honest truth. Is everything that they do is a nod to something that gave them the inspiration for a song or for whatever they do. Like Yorktown. I mean, we're going to get into that just a little bit more depth here. But you guys worked with Andy James on this from Five Finger Death, but he did the guitar solo. How was working with him on this, and how did that come about possibly?
Well, it's funny, too, because I've kind of secretly always wanted another guitar player in the band, but I'm kind of a control freak, so it's hard for me to like hand off the reins to anybody because I'm like, you know what, just add 2 more strings to my guitar and I'll take over the second part as well. But, you know, it was one thing, it was just like, it kind of, you know, having another guitar player really fills the band out and makes it sound, especially live sonically, it's just crazy. But the problem was there was nobody I could think of that I would be able to play on stage with. And you know, you got to gel. You got to have chemistry. You can't just add people to a band and, you know, have that all work out. But it was suggested to us that we're like, you know, having, you know, a super shredder in the band would be beneficial. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, okay, who? And they said, well, Andy James. I'm like, oh, Andy, I've heard of him. And they put me in contact with Andy, and Andy and I became like best friends probably within 5 minutes. It was the funniest thing because once we started talking, the girls would just roll their eyes and we're like, oh, you guess you found your new boyfriend. And it was me and Andy would just literally talk and joke about anything. I'm like, dude, have we just become best friends? It was like stepbrothers. And yeah. And you know, musically and everything, we just got along so well, and we saw eye to eye. And it was, you know, he was in the band for a very, very short time because he ended up, you know, becoming Five Fingers guitar player. But that was the thing. It was like when, you know, he got the opportunity to do that, we were like, of course, man, you know, go do that. That's an amazing, amazing opportunity. He and I, you know, it was really cool. So when we did these songs, he was able to come in and play on them, and he just kills it. I mean, you know, he's an absolute beast of a guitar player.
See, I thought this is really cool about this video, Yorktown. This is what I'm talking about of Butcher Babies paying a nod to things for them. Like Little Gotham is basically paying tribute to like Adam West's Batman, and plus there's also a nod in here to Nirvana. I know you guys like comic books and stuff like that, so let's talk about that a little bit. Why did you want to go this route and pay tribute to Adam West's Batman and plus a nod to Nirvana possibly?
You know, one thing that we like to do is especially Heidi and I, is we'll go to a bar and we'll just grab drinks and we'll just start talking about, we'll just have ideas and we'll just joke about stuff. And we're like, you know, it'd be really funny if we did this, or it'd be awesome if we did this. And there was a scene, it's actually Star Trek, where it's a really famous scene where Captain Kirk is fighting an alien, it's like in this rocky desert area, and it's the worst fighting you've ever seen in your life. It's so, I don't know if you ever have a chance, go on YouTube and look it up. It's hilarious because it's so bad. I'm like, it would be awesome to do a video like that. And then we kind of it really kind of came from, you know, that kind of concept. And like the old Batman, it's just like these terrible fight scenes and this really goofy, and it has to look cheap. And we're like, what if we did like a throwback Batman style video with terrible fighting and just everything looks super cheap? That would be awesome. And that song in particular was like the perfect soundtrack. And that's kind of where that came from. And, you know, that song in particular, you know, we love that song because we feel like Yorktown really encompasses everything that is Butcher Babies. It's fun. It's really heavy. It's, you know, it's got all these little hooks in it. It's, you know, it's everything that Butcher Babies is. So that one's really kind of near and dear to us, especially me. I absolutely love that song. And every time it comes on, we're just like, that's the song right there. Not to discount the other songs at all, but it's just, we love the fun stuff. We love the silly, fun Butcher Baby side of us.
You can't go wrong with the 60s version of Batman. For anybody that hasn't watched it, check it out, because like Henry just said, the fighting for me was the best part, and to watch Adam West try to, let's go, Robin, also serious, is just like so hilarious. And just the fight scene.
Oh yeah, it's so great, man.
The fight scenes, like you hear like pow, boom, and it's just it's cool. It's so damn cool.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: you guys had this EP done before the quarantine started, correct? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, we've had that. We've been sitting on this stuff for a long, long time, and we kept it hidden. And that was this thing, is like, before the pandemic happened, we had this whole rollout, and you have a plan, and at that time you could actually plan for things. Crazy enough, you can actually, you can actually see the future and know what could possibly happen. And not like now, where it's just like, you don't know what's going to happen week to week. So yeah, we'd been sitting on that, and then we had to basically push everything back. But it was okay because no one was really doing anything anyways. It would have been, I think it would have been a mistake to have released the stuff, and then the pandemic happens, and then you can't do anything on it that's already out there. Mm-hmm. So it kind of was a blessing and a curse at the same time. But yeah, we've been sitting on those songs for a while now.
Well, speaking of that, do you have any more that's going to be released possibly down the line that you guys are still sitting on that you couldn't release?
Oh, we're always, something's cooking with us. There's always, and it's, I would say the best is yet to come. So, so we're plenty busy. We're not just sitting at home watching Netflix, and, that's fun, but we're working. And so, yeah, we definitely have stuff cooking, and I can't wait for people to hear it.
Was there a song on this EP that you guys started working on that totally ended up sounding different, or took a major turn from where it started?
Well, the thing about this EP that was interesting is we went in with Matt Good to do these songs, and he was a much different style producer than we worked with previously. And that was kind of the point, is to go in with somebody and really shake things up. And we went in, basically, the only idea that we brought to the table before we went in the studio with him was Yorktown. And that was really just a riff. And that was kind of it. Everything else was made up right on the spot. And that is something that we hadn't done in a long time. And so we were able to write right there in the studio, and we would bust out like a song a day. And that was kind of how we were working. Like, sometimes your ideas, we've had ideas before where you just beat them into the ground, and you keep reworking them, and they just kind of get diluted. And more often than not, those ideas would just kind of go away, and they just don't have a spark. There was really nothing there to begin with. And so, you keep working an idea, and it just doesn't really develop into anything. And in this studio environment with Matt, we were able to basically start an idea and like, yeah, okay, how about this? And then this chorus, and then boom, we had a song. That was Bottom of the Bottle, came super quick. I had a riff, and I was like, okay, yeah, that riff works. It was, kind of a easy no-brainer. And then it just developed into a song, and boom, by the end of the day, we had Bottom of the Bottle. Mm. I mean, that was it. It was shocking. We're like, holy shit, we have a song. And at that time, it had been a while since we had written anything. So yeah, I would say every song that we did kind of took a turn that we did not expect.
So Goliath was your debut album from 2013, Henry. How much growth or what impresses you the most about the growth of the Butcher Babies, seeing that album up till now? What sticks out the most for you for the growth-wise?
Oh, God. Well, that Goliath, the funny thing about Goliath is that we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't really know what kind of sound we were going for. We just had this raw aggression. And that was one thing that you can really hear on Goliath, is just this straight up raw aggression. We didn't, would go from riff to riff, and the songs were kind of all over the place, and the ideas, and it was just, we were just pissed off. It was just like pissed off LA kids trying to make a name for ourselves in the scene. And that's kind of what Goliath sounds like. It wasn't until the next album where we started to really use our influences and start like, let's try a song that sounds like Rob Zombie, or let's say, we're not directly ripping off. We're influenced by so many bands and so many genres. We love to throw stuff into songs that nobody would expect or nobody even try, and call it, Butcher Babies, because we can. It's funny about this band is like we kind of feel like we can do whatever we want, and people are like, that's cool, and it's fun, and that's kind of why it developed into the songs that we have now on the EP, because it's so far from Goliath. I mean, the songs now, you put it back to back, and it's barely the same band, but people are like, yeah, it's Butcher Babies, and it works, and that's really fun. And as an artist, it's a super cool, to be able to write. And let's like, if we come up with a country song, we're like, let's make this Butcher Babies song and see what happens. And we do that all the time. It's really fun.
But it's a world of difference between Goliath than Lilith. You know what I'm saying? Oh, absolutely. It's hard to explain. I dig into music deeply, but yeah, it's very out of the box. You could tell the growth from that album to Lilith and what you're doing now. And I like it, man. Yeah. There's just no,
thank you.
I like how you guys are stepping out of that box and trying to get out of that comfort zone and be a little shocked and a little scared to put stuff out there. That's cool, because when a band stops doing that, it's over. That's my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, you really, really do have to. And it's like, the thing about Lilith is even our approach to how we do things in the studio is different. Like when we did Goliath, we had basically been a band and we had these songs we were working on, and we kind of developed them in the studio with Josh Wilbur, and we went in and we had this, we just went in and recorded it, and it was our first real experience with a producer. A second album, we kind of developed more on the spot with Logan Mader, and we were kind of working on some ideas. When we actually did Lilith, we went with a different producer. We had a new drummer at the time, and we wanted to record a more live sounding, raw album that was kind of similar to Goliath, but more developed. So each album kind of has a different approach and a different concept and we switch things up. We try a different producer. We put ourselves in a different headspace. We try different themes. You have to do that stuff to really shake things up. And the last thing we want is to give the fans a predictable, okay, well, this is Butcher Babies, it's just like, it's going to sound like this. That's not fun for us. I don't think it's fun for our fans. And I don't know. To me, it's not really being a true artist. If you're going to be an artist, you got to put yourself out there and really try things and take risks. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. So March 27th, you guys are going to play the debut album, Goliath, on a special live streaming event. So let's talk about that a little bit, man. Little Butterflies. Did you have to go back and relearn anything, possibly, since it's been so long?
You mean relearn the entire album? Yeah,
yeah, sure.
It's hard to play. It's fun. It's fun as hell for us to play those songs, and we hadn't done it in a while. But yeah, been rehearsing, and man, it's so fun we're like, man, this thing is really, really cool. It's been so long since we, even listened to it. It's funny. We don't sit around and listen to our own stuff. And we would go back and listen to the Goliath, and there'd be songs on there and be like, damn, I forget this song completely. And then we try to play it, and it's like, oh man, this thing's really fun, man. We should play this more often. Playing live shows and stuff. You have, once you have a catalog like we do, you can only, cherry pick the songs from certain albums to play live because people expect to hear them. And it's always like,
sure,
one or two songs from each album. And it's always those, we played Magnolia Boulevard, probably more song than any, but that's one of the only ones from Goliath that ever got a lot of attention. But when you go back and play every song, it's super fun. So we're really looking forward to this.
But is there a song that you want to possibly include in the set list that's never been in the set list that you like to play possibly?
Well, that's going to be part of the surprise.
Okay. I got you, brother.
Yeah. So it's this is something new. We're going to try this thing, And, the live streaming thing is kind of the only option for bands right now. There's really no other thing that we could do as a band other than that. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say, it's like the general public. I know that everybody wants to see shows, and so they're okay with like sitting in front of their computer screen and watching a band play. Like they can't really do anything else. So, we're excited about this, and we're going to give people a really good show.
So what do you hope that everyone takes away while listening to any other Butcher Babies songs in general? What do you hope that they get from it, Henry?
Well, we try to be like one of those, lifestyle bands where, it's the look of the band, it's the message, the girls are always, we want to be uplifting for people. And we love it when people are like, this band gives me something to get me through my day. That kind of, when we hear stuff like that, that's super important. And, a lot of times when you're a musician and stuff, you're like, am I really doing anything important? Am I really doing, is this really important to write this riff or have this lyric or do this silly video and everything? And then when you hear people's response that, man, thank you for doing this. This got me through this. Or this has been the most important thing in my life. You're like, wow, I got to remember that this is super important to people, and that what we do is important to a lot of people. And I feel like musicians, and especially through this pandemic, have been kind of the forgotten. We were talking about essential workers. Musicians are essential workers. They get people through stuff. And people need this. People need entertainment. They need music. They need, bands to help them cope with everything that's going on. So if we can help people get through this stuff and be kind of like a little beacon of hope, that's an awesome takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I said that about BODS Mayhem Hour when I first started this 11 years ago. If I just reach one person and they like one of my things, that's all I ask. I hope they dig it.
It's really cool. And, it makes you feel really good that you could actually do something that's super, super valuable to people. So,
I want to say this right quick before I get into my last question with you. I got to say, on that tour that I got to see you guys on that Danzig tour, after the show, you and Heidi came out, and there were still people inside. And I seen so many young ladies and women come up to Heidi and was telling, her their stories, and seeing those girls cry and just putting their emotions out and telling her everything, that sent chills up me, because it was like, they're meeting their idol, or they're meeting their favorite band and getting that one-on-one action. You know what I'm saying? That in person talking. Yeah. That was so cool. And Heidi didn't care. She stood there and talked forever, each one of them, which I thought was amazing, because never forget your fans, folks, because they were also in that spot where you were before.
We're fans. That's the thing about, we try to let people know. It's like, especially when it comes to writing music and stuff, it's like, I'm the kid that was going to shows. So I'm from Oregon, and I'm from a really small town in Southern Oregon, and I had to go to Portland, Eugene and Portland, to see shows. So I had to drive like 2.5 hours to go see a show, and I'd get back like 5 a.m. And I was the fan. I was standing outside waiting to meet the band. I've been that kid my whole life, and Heidi too. Like, we're all those kids. And so we very much, when we see that kind of stuff, we're like, that's me. We're the same. We're not, we're not any different. We just happen to we have a cool job. And so, we don't take that kind of stuff for granted. And Heidi and Carla, they especially don't. They'll talk to everybody, and they appreciate everyone. And it's really, really cool to see. Keeps us going, man.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you guys again after that, but I was like, you know what? I had my interview with you guys. I'm just going to step away and let everybody else have their chance, because they need that, not me right now. So that's cool. Kudos to you guys for that, for sure.
Thanks, man.
I know you had a lot of music growing up, and I know you had a lot of albums all over your room going crazy, but did you have that one specific album or just a specific song that affected you as far as giving you inspiration, or just, let you escape, and it was just that one album, one song that you had to have, possibly?
Well, that's a tough one, because there were different phases in my life that had inspiration. You know, I grew up. First thing, it was Van Halen. I mean, I really would like to get down to one band. I mean, I would say it was when I heard Eruption, when I heard the first, Van Halen album. That was it for me. And I was, in sixth grade, and that was just like, music consumed me from that point on. I never really looked back. My parents always knew. They're like, I'd moved to LA when I was 20, and I'd never looked back. And they were like, yeah, we knew you were doing that. We knew you were going to be a musician. There's a lot of different things I could have done, but it was just, no, it's music. And yeah, once I heard Van Halen, from that point on, I just never looked back.
It's so cool. And I said this during every interview I've ever done. It is so cool that music can be your own therapy. It could be your own drug. It could be your voice in a time that you really didn't know that you need music at that time.
Right.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just, I got chills up me right now. But I've been there. I've been there when my dad was real sick. I never knew how much I needed music in my life till that point. So yeah, it saved my life.
Yeah. It saved our lives, and it became everything. And like I said, I was from a small town. There was really I was really lucky that there was a lot of musicians in our town, and there's nothing else you could do other than play music. And so it did. It saved our lives, and man, I'm so glad that I had that growing up.
When can we expect this EP out? Do you guys roughly know, or what you're shooting for, maybe?
I would say fall-ish. Okay. I would say that's, we haven't set on a date yet, but before the end of the year, yes. So,
folks, get out and pick up these 3 new singles by the Butcher Babies, or you could just wait till the EP comes out. And definitely support them. And if you haven't listened to any of the Butcher Baby songs, please do yourself a favor and go listen to them. I'm not saying that again because Henry's on here. I'm just saying it's just good, downright music. It's raw. It's just, it grabs you by the nuts, as if that's, safe to say.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
So, Henry, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise?
Oh, we're all over the place. butcherbabies.com, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, we're all over the socials. We're not hard to find. We always tell people, where can I see? I'm like, just Google the name, man. It's all there. So, yeah, we're easy to find.
Hey, before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. Cool. This is Henry Flury from the Butcher Babies, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Please get out and pick up the 3 new singles by the Butcher Babies, or like I said earlier, just wait till the EP comes out. And please give these guys and gals a fair shot. Trust me, you will like their music. I put $100 on it. So there you go. Henry, my man.
Right on.
I hope to get to meet you again out on tour, man. So, yeah, thank you so much for the interview.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, for sure. All right, see ya.
All right, man. Thanks. Bye.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.